Hi, and welcome to the AdaKay Show. I am AdaKay Brown, and am currently a criminal justice major, and I'm a deaf courtroom commentator. Grab a cup of Java, and let's dive in. Hi, and welcome to the AdaKay Show.
Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io.
Happy 4th of July, everybody. Happy 4th of July. I forgot to move my microphone. Good morning, everybody. Oh, it's still going. Sorry. Happy 4th of July, everybody. This is, if you're not from America, well, this is our Independence Day. And I wish everybody a 4th of July. I got my USA shirt on today. I hope everybody stays well, stays safe, but enjoys the day. Hello, everybody. Good morning. Defender of Faith, you're first in chat. Tinkitude, you're second in chat. One sunny day, you're third in chat. Angela, hello. Sweet Magnolia and Desiree, hi. How is everybody doing? I hope you're doing well. We had hellacious rains and storms last night. Knocked out some of our power. Uh-oh. Let's see if I'm in trouble. I may have gotten... Wonderful. Yay! My teacher, we had no power last night. I couldn't turn in my homework assignment, and it was 3:45 in the morning when I finally turned it in, and I was terrified my teacher was going to go, "No, I don't care." Well, he's so kind. He said it was perfect. Good morning, June. Ooh, what game are we watching? I would like to know. What game are you going to be watching, dear? So what we're going to do, we have flooding all over San Antonio, Central Texas, where I am. We actually were flooded away from our home last night. We had to sleep here. I know, right? So it's okay. It's okay. We gonna do this. Okay, I'm loading up day 2. All right, so what we're going to do today is we're going to go into day 2 of our, I'm going to get the comments up. Day 2 of our, there we go. Day 2 of, I keep wanting to call her Katrina, is Karina Cooper. She is accused of conspiracy of Redrum. Her boyfriend unalived her husband in the home with children present. Y'all, come on. So anyway, we are going to do that today. Let me get everything up and running and get everything where it needs to be. All righty, y'all. You ready? Good morning. Good morning. Is Diane in here? I don't see her. Oh, there she is. Yeah, she's working on her office today. She won't be here. She can watch and everything, but she won't be participating. And I have to beg your forgiveness. My allergies kicked in late yesterday. The dust hit us. Okay, are you ready?
Do you swear
Here
or
we go.
affirm, sir, that the testimony
Mind you, the
given in
court
these proceedings will be the truth?
volume is not good. I'll do the best I can.
I do. All right. And for the record, can you please provide me with your first and last name and spell them both?
My name is Andrew Gladfelter. My first name is spelled Andrew. Last name is spelled Gladfelter.
All right. Thank you, sir. Mr. Kodiaga?
Thank you, Judge. Sir, you've introduced yourself. Can you tell the jury what you do for a living?
I am employed as a criminalist with the Iowa Division of Criminal Investigation, Criminalistics Laboratory.
And can you unpack that? Just explain what a criminalist is and what your employment and experience to be in this position.
As a criminalist at the Iowa DCI Crime Lab, you analyze evidence brought to you by law enforcement, and you will perform your analysis and generate reports on your findings of those analyses. As part of being a criminalist at the laboratory, you usually have a 4-year degree in a specific scientific field like chemistry, physics, and/or biology. With that in mind, you have that 4-year degree and other training that might be acceptable for different positions within that laboratory. I'm currently employed within the firearm and tool mark examination section. And with that, I have a 4-year degree in chemistry chemistry and forensic science from Simpson College of Indianola, Iowa.
How long have you been employed by the DCI Crime Lab?
Just a little bit under 15 years. It'll be 15 years in September.
Okay. And so during the course, you said you now work in the firearms department. Have you worked in different departments within the crime lab?
Yes, I have. I first started out in the laboratory as an evidence technician. Prior to that, I was an intern in toxicology, but that wasn't a paid position. But I was in the evidence room as an evidence technician. From there, I became a criminalist in the drug section. And then after that, I was now in firearms and tool marks since October of 2022.
As part of your job before, you talked about evidence technician. Does that involve also crime scene investigation?
Yes, as part of being a criminalist at the laboratory, you can volunteer to be part of the crime scene response teams there.
Can you tell the jury what that means?
As part of being in the crime scene response team, you're allotted certain weeks in the year where you're on call 24 hours a day to respond to any investigations that are required with your expertise in crime scene investigation. The part of being in the crime scene teams is that you'll receive training on the documentation and preservation of evidence at scenes. And from there, as part of your normal duties, you'll have your expertise in the laboratory, but then you'll also be part of the crime scene team on a rotation.
Does that involve forensic evidence collection?
Yes, it does.
And part of that involves chain of custody, collecting the evidence, taking it back to the lab.
Correct.
Were you involved sometimes in June 18th of 2021 in the case that brings us to this court today?
Yes, I was.
What was the nature of your involvement?
It was requested by the SAC at the time to respond to a death investigation there and to provide crime scene investigation.
So basically what you've talked about was your involvement then documenting, collecting, and preserving the evidence for further testing and for further testimony as you are in court here today.
Yes.
So you've described how you became involved. Did you have a brief briefing of what you will be doing as you go there and what the nature of the case looked like?
Yes, so on an initial call out from the SAC, we were asked to head to the Tama County Sheriff's Department for initial briefing on the details of the case.
Did you then proceed to the property in question where you're going to do your investigations at?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember the address that you went to?
The address we were told was 1846 or 1846 K Avenue, Traer, Iowa.
Can you describe the property and your initial observations as you got to the property?
The property itself consisted of a main residence with an attached garage, as well as various outbuildings there too. A garden shed near a garden. There was a play area for children. There was also a shed that contained a lot of recreational items, as well as two other garages, a gray garage and a red garage that contained vehicles or recreational vehicles.
When you go to a property to do an examination, are there certain standards or procedures that you use or that you apply in working a crime scene?
Yes, as part of my training, there is a very specific process that there is a process in which we will follow to document and then to preserve that evidence and collect that evidence, preserve that evidence, then follow the chain of custodies with those. Those are part of our training as well as listed within our SOPs within the laboratory.
What are some of the methods or training that you use?
Say that again, please.
What are some of the methods or training process that you use?
Some of the methods that we use, are you asking in documenting or?
Yes.
With crime scene documentation, we're going to be using photography. We'll even take video. We will also then even make sketches of those scenes as well. We also use a 3D measuring device called a Faro scanner, which will do a 3D virtual scan of that scene and also collect measurements of that scene that we can use later on.
Did you employ some of those methods in this particular case?
Yes, those methods that I mentioned were used in this case.
Okay. Can you explain to the jury more briefly what a Faro is?
Faro is just a metrology device or a measuring device that will bounce lasers around a room and measure the distances that those lasers have reflected off of surfaces. And with the technology and the software they have, they're able to calculate those distances, and then it provides a 3D virtual representation of that scene.
You talked about taking pictures to document the scene. Did you do that in this particular case?
Yes.
And have you been able to review those pictures that you took before your testimony today?
Yes, I did.
Your Honor, at this point, with the stipulation of the parties, the state will admit what's been marked as State Exhibit 118 to 155, then 156A, 157, 158A, 159 through 167, 168A, 169 through 193, and 302.
Just make sure I got those numbers correct. 118 through 155, 156A, 157, 158A, 159 through 167, 168A, 169 through 193, and 302.
That is correct.
And is there any objection by the defendant?
No, Your Honor.
All right, then I'm not going to repeat them all again, but all the exhibits that I just mentioned are now admitted. And are you looking to publish these?
That is correct. And may I approach to?
You may, and you don't need to ask again with this witness.
It might help you to use those, that's fine, but you have copy on the screen in front of you.
Yeah, and you can tilt that screen. That helps. You should be able to tilt that screen. So there you go.
Beginning with 118, can you tell us what we see on that exhibit? What time did you arrive at this residence?
At the residence, a little past noon. I can't remember the exact time right off the top of my head.
Fair enough to say that at that point, your department had been called in and so the scene had been secured for you, your department to come and do the investigation?
Yes.
So there was no one at the residence?
There was law enforcement personnel on the property, but not inside of the residence.
Were there any children or any other person who was living at that residence?
At that time, there was only law enforcement personnel on scene.
You talked about being kind of given information or told a little bit of what to expect when you get to the residence. Is that what happens as standard practice?
Yes, those were in the initial details at the briefing at Tama County Sheriff's Department.
Okay. Do you rely on what you're given 100%?
No, not as a scientist. And when I'm given those details, I'm naturally want to be skeptical of them. I'm going to be walking into scene as if none of those details really matter, but it does give us an idea of what could be seen as evidence at that scene. Otherwise, I'm looking to see what's consistent with details, what's inconsistent with details, and just looking to find any evidence that would help answer questions arising in this matter.
Okay. Go to state 119. What do we see on 119?
This is a door that is the entrance to the attached garage on the main residence. This is the only, besides the garage door itself, this is the other way to access that garage.
What of significance did you notice about this door?
At the time it was shut, and also that it has a key lock as well as a keypad lock for a code too.
And will you describe that as an electronic keypad?
Yes.
What do we see on state 120?
Again, this is another view of the east side of the residence, showing the entrance into the kitchen, or the what I term the mudroom area, the initial entryway, as well as another exterior door to the south living room and the dining area or porch area on the east side of that residence.
If you can you describe to the jury, we see at least outlines of 3 doors. Can you tell the jury what those 3 doors you determine them to be?
Yes. Is it all right if I use a laser pointer? I have one on me to be able to point up there. Is that okay?
That's fine if it works.
So the question was about the entrances into that residence?
Yes.
Okay. So what was previously seen over here was the garage door entrance here. This is the only way to get into the garage other than that garage door being open. This right here is one of the other entryways into the residence itself. This would give access to the residence through the southern living room area. And this would give access to the mudroom, which is right next to that kitchen, and the basement access as well. And these are the two that work into the residence there, and this door would be the one that only goes into that attached garage.
Okay, and so from your testimony, to get into the house, into this residence, you have to use one of those 2 doors, not the garage door, correct?
Correct. The attached garage does not have access into the main residence.
What do we see on 121? Is that just more isolating the front living room door?
Yes, it's just a closer view of the living room door, as well as the porch that is there, the landing, and the steps there to that dining area.
When you came, was that landing, was that door, that landing gate open?
Yes, when we were there on scene, that gate was open.
What do we see on 122?
Another view of that door on the south living room door, just from the east side of the residence there.
Now, can you describe for the jury 121 and 122? Are those steps fairly short steps, pretty small and confined area?
I would say for somebody like my size, and like if I have size 10 and a half, 11 feet, that yes, they're smaller steps than I would usually step on, but I can't give you an exact representation of that Other than that, yes, it is a smaller area that has been fenced in with those gates there.
What do we see on this exhibit?
This would be the entrance to the mudroom, which then gives access to the kitchen on the east side of the residence.
What do we see on State Exhibit 124?
That is the same entry with the door open that I just previously mentioned.
Okay. So that's now with the door open.
That is with the door open now.
And when you came, was this door open or closed?
When I was there processing the scene with my partner, that door was closed.
What do you see in 125?
That would be the latches on the door frame to that same previously mentioned door, the door that gives access to the mudroom and kitchen area.
Why did you take this picture?
At the time, when I'm processing a scene, I'm keeping in mind the details of the case, but I'm also being skeptical of those very details. I'm looking to see if this was a completely unknown subject that came to the residence, what would be the reasons why? And if they had to get access to this place, there would be possibly signs of forced entry is one of my thought processes when looking at this scene. This is just a photograph of the latches that I had observed, and there appeared to be no signs of forced entry or tool marks on them that would suggest somebody's trying to break into this door.
Just a close-up of that?
Yes, just a close-up of the same latches.
That's 126?
Let me double check here. Yes, that'd be State's Exhibit 126.
What does the jury see in Exhibit 127?
That is a view of the kitchen from the southeast corner, just inside of that door that we have just previously looked at.
Anything moved in the kitchen that was alarming or interesting to you, or it seemed just a normal kitchen at a farmhouse?
Yes, it appears to be just a normal kitchen with items from the family, food items, dishes, cookware, whatever is in a normal kitchen. There's some cash that I noticed that was left on the countertop here as well, and also a tablet on the kitchen table there that was left there. Those things appeared to have just been there when I was at the scene, and nothing has. It's just a photograph of where they are as it is at this point.
What do we see on 128?
This would be a view from the, pardon me while I get my directions straight and just think through here. But the northwest corner of the kitchen, looking towards the south to the entrance to the central foyer or sewing room area, as we called it. And by we, I mean my partner and I, as we defined it at the time.
So when you did this, you were with someone else?
Yes.
What was that person's name?
It is evidence technician Melissa Ozimek.
What do we see on State Exhibit 129?
So that is a view of the central hall or the sewing room area that has access to the upstairs as well as to the bathroom and some other bedrooms. This is looking towards the south wall of that area.
I'm going to show you what's been admitted already as 313, State Exhibit 313, which will be the floor plan of this building. With that, if you can also help that, if that can help with your testimony to explain.
Okay.
Are you able to see that?
Yes, I am.
So when you're talking about 129, if you look at the floor plan, can you just use your pointer to show the jury what you're talking about or where that picture we're seeing?
Yes, so if this is the hallway or the central area, I am taking the picture from here facing this direction.
Okay. And so there's a bedroom that you
Okay, guys, I got to break in. I stayed at the shop last night and did not know the severity of what's going on. I'm going to have to show you some videos of my community. This is the second worst flood in the history of Kerrville. And historical areas have been destroyed. Hold on. I'm sorry, I'm a little emotional. This is bad. And I'm not out in it. Thank God I'm safe. But if you live in my community, please be safe. I don't know why I'm getting emotional, but we have a park that's like 30 feet deep. And this rainwater, come on, replay video, enlarge, enlarge, enlarge.
Guadalupe River at Nimitz Dam on Guadalupe Street, out of its banks onto the public street.
Y'all, this is massive. This is our bridge.
Flood rescues
This
apparently
is over
already
30 feet.
underway here. Emergency vehicles are all over the
It's
place.
never been this high
All
before.
right, so here's the deal. I am looking right down at the river. It is nearing the top of the bridge. You have on the other side of the bridge there was a huge stage for tonight's concerts that is totally gone. I don't know if they got it out.
You guys, that's millions of dollars are gone. Not millions, hundreds of thousands of dollars gone. They were set up for the entire 4th of July weekend. Oh my God. Y'all have no idea. This is over 30 feet of an overflow in my community. This is the worst flood. Oh my gosh.
Out of there
y'all.
in time, or it's wiped out. But I'm going to go over here to one of the beams where we're located at here on the river, and you can see all the debris that's kind of working its way down here.
We had people set up, food trucks and all of that were set up. Oh,
on the river right now. So
my
again,
gosh.
if
Sorry,
you were
y'all, this
gonna
is breaking
jump
news,
in
and
the
I know this may upset some people, but this is my community.
river, here's my hand. This would all here would be parked. From here on, right about here.
Okay, the river only use. I don't know if you can, let me embiggen this so I can see what I'm doing here. The river,
Trail.
see right where my mouse is? The river usually comes across here. Everything to the left of my arrow is grass.
Goes up.
Oh my gosh. My daughter called wanting to. Oh, that's the top of the dam.
That just goes to show you right there what it can do. And
that's a home.
yeah, that house it's right. That house has either already been picked up, maybe it's a shed. I can't get perspective on just how big it is, but
this is the river.
Look at that. Look at
that's Guadalupe. That dam, that's 30, 40 feet right there, y'all. Oh my
that
God.
wall of water damming up against that bridge there. You can see just how strong that water is, creating a geyser of strength. And just even every now and then you'll see a piece of debris coming down that river, Justin, and that is going so fast. This is
30
this
feet.
is the reason why we say turn around, don't drown, especially at night. Thankfully, we've
I was going to say, so it says crop on there, KROPF.
presumably, yeah, could be compromised. That's
Oh my God. We have never seen this river in 100 years this high. Businesses are underwater. I was just at that park yesterday. This is a mall. If it goes another 10 feet, we're going to, it'll be over that bridge. Oh my God. I don't know how my home is. Our street floods. Oh my God. Guys, Matt, we got to go home. Look, this is Lewis Hayes Park. It is literally touching the base of the bridge. That's, well, watch your language, 30 to 40 feet.
How do we get that much water overnight?
Matt, we got to go home and check the house. Guys, I love you guys, but I'm ending the live. We got to go home and see if we can get home and check our house. I will let you know how we are. I don't know, Ronnie. There's no dam. This is over. So we're going to go home, see if we can get home and check our house. We fell asleep here. So we've got to go and see if we can get home. And check our home and see if we even have a home. I know, Matt, I'm going. Guys, I will be back. I promise. Sorry, guys. Gotta go. Thanks for watching. Please comment, like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. I hope you have an awesome day. Till next time, take care.